Every once in a while, you come across a ride that has you scratching your head. One of those rides was Mammoth Tree at Coneyland in Switzerland. At first glance, this may look like your ordinary sky ride, but there are several things very different about this attraction. For one, the cable car bounces and bobs wildly throughout. You know how you aren't supposed to rock the gondola on a sky ride? Basically, this attraction simulates what would happen if you misbehave on a sky ride, or if a park ran one on a super windy day. 2. There's a giant freaking tree smack dab in the middle of the ride that holds an extended show sequence. So the real question is, what's in the tree? Find out in this review of Mammoth Tree. First off, what on earth even is this ride? This is a one-of-a-kind gondola attraction from Swiss Rides, who is a subsidiary of Bartholet. Coneyland is a pretty narrow park, and Mammoth Tree runs down the center midway. This attraction is 558 feet, or 170 meters of cable, and stands 66 feet, or 20 meters tall. But most people will be drawn to that giant tree. When you see a structure this large and elaborate created for a ride seemingly as ordinary as a sky ride, you know there has to be some sort of gimmick. But off-ride, you can't really see anything as the tree mysteriously shuts its doors whenever a gondola enters. You just hear a few screams escaping from the structure periodically, so going in, I had no idea what to expect. Mammoth Tree had the longest line by far during my visit at Coneyland. This attraction has a single gondola, seating just 16 riders per cycle, and start to finish, the entire ride experience lasts roughly 5 minutes. So this ride cannot accommodate more than 160 people at best in an hour. Quite simply, that capacity is not good. On the summer weekday I visited, this attraction had roughly a half-hour wait all afternoon. If you arrive at the park opening, I would recommend heading to this attraction first to avoid the line. The gondola has 2 different sections. Each section seats 8 riders, 4 on each side facing back to back. Each row has a shared lap bar that's way more robust than most sky rides. That's another hint that you're about to experience something wilder than you may have expected. Once dispatched, epic music starts to play, and that soundtrack will continue for the duration of the ride. It really sets the tone throughout the experience. You then move forwards like a speedy aerial tramway and quickly pass through the tree. Then the weirdness starts. Your gondola will continue moving forwards and then start rocking back and forth. If that's not enough, the cable supporting your vehicle will also bounce up and down. The movement is smooth, and while it may not be overly extreme in terms of the distance you move, it feels downright wrong to get that type of motion on what looks like a sky ride. And some of those bounces even caused a light tummy tickling sensation, like a smaller drop tower. It just felt weird. Once you reach the end of the cable, you keep bouncing up and down for a few seconds. You then bounce and rock your way backwards into the massive tree. You then come to a stop, and the tree shuts its doors, leaving you in the dark. Now, if you want to keep listening, there will be spoilers for what happens next, so you've been warned. You then hear the mighty tree speaking to riders in this booming and powerful voice. It reminded me of the wizard in Wizard of Oz. I believe the audio was entirely in German, so I didn't understand what was being said, but it was clear something wacky was about to take place. And sure enough it did. The ride turns into sensory overload. You suddenly feel like you're in the middle of a windstorm. Before the lights went out, you may have noticed lines of fans on both sides of the gondola, and the ride certainly puts all those fans to good use here. Misters and fire flashes then start going off as well, and continue throughout the show scene. Then you hear a bunch of monkeys squealing and hooting. Again, I couldn't understand what the tree was saying, but I suspect it was a warning that the monkeys were about to mess with the gondola, given what happens next. It feels like the gondola unhooks somehow, and you start swinging downwards into the tree. It's not intense, nor do you move that far, but it's certainly a WTF moment. And it only gets weirder. Your vehicle will then start vibrating and bouncing. Then there is a short, but sudden freefall drop towards the end. It probably isn't more than 5 feet or 1.5 meters tall, but it's very sudden, and it'll give a brief stomach dropping sensation. If you watch my POV, this is the part of the ride where you hear that loud bang and the kids start to cry. And all while this was occurring, I kept asking myself how the heck this type of motion was even possible on a sky ride, but I simply loved its bizarreness. The doors to the tree then open, and happy music starts playing. You then rock and bob your way back to the load platform, ending one of the most unique and confusing ride experiences out there. So what would I rate the Mammoth Tree? I would give this one-of-a-kind gondola a 10 out of 10. Now I only rode this attraction once, so maybe it wouldn't be as special in a ride when I knew it was coming, but still, that bouncing and swaying of the gondola in the outdoor section had some mild freefall sensations and was just pure fun. It just felt unnatural to perform those types of movements while attached to a little cable. And then the real magic occurs inside the tree. From the audio, to the visual effects, to the motion effects, I just couldn't stop laughing. This was an engaging experience start to finish, and a long one too. How many rides are this interesting for 5 straight minutes? This is easily the best non-coaster at Connieland, and I know this isn't a park many enthusiasts visit, but the combination of the weird pack shuttle coaster in Cobra and this awesome sky ride should be enough to get this park on people's radar when they do a European road trip. So those are my thoughts on Mammoth Tree, the bizarre sky ride at Connieland. What are your thoughts on this attraction? Do you appreciate a ride as weird as this? I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.